God's favour through the Egyptians for Joseph. Now the favour for Moses. And Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, was mighty in word and in deed. And when he was full 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his brethren and the children of Israel. And seeing one of them suffer wrong, he defended him and avenged him that was oppressed and smote the Egyptian. A misunderstanding of his calling. We must be careful today that we don't have a misunderstanding of our calling. No doubt Moses knew within himself that he was called to be a deliverer with the people of Israel. But it wasn't just to go out and to murder one Egyptian. He could only see a small picture. But our God sees the big picture. Moses could see these two brethren being liberated from this Egyptian taskmaster. But God could see the whole nation of Israel coming out of Egypt. God could see the Red Sea being divided. A way of escape made for the children of God. And that same way of escape for the Israelites became a death trap for the Egyptians, because they followed them into the way of escape. And the sea came back in and drowned them. Our God is mighty. Our God's on the throne, and he's remembering his own. For he supposed that the brethren would have understood how that God by his hand would deliver them. But they understood not. You see, this vision was starting to develop in his heart. And he just thought that the people of Israel would understand. And you and I in our position today, and the vision of God is beginning to develop in us, and sometimes we expect people to understand, but they don't understand. Because it's a life that they don't understand. They may have a knowledge of the letter, but the letter killeth, but the Spirit alone giveth life. So as Moses thought that they would understand, they couldn't understand. Moses had just this small picture, but God had the big picture. The whole nation being delivered. The next day he showed himself unto them, as they strove and would have set them but one, saying, Sirs, ye are brethren, why do you wrong one to another? But he that did his neighbour wrong thrust him away, saying, Who made thee a ruler and a judge over us? That had followed the line right down from the days in Egypt to the days in Jerusalem after the death and resurrection of the Lord Jesus Christ. Philip or Stephen here is preaching it. He's pointing it out. But the religious leaders are refusing to accept it. Great was the story of Israel being delivered from bondage in Egypt. But greater is the story of the Lord Jesus Christ delivering this world from death, hell, and the grave. That's our greater story. That's our greater truth. And it's been preached here. But he that did the neighbour wrong thrust him away and said, Who made thee a ruler and a judge over thee? When people turn down the offer of salvation, they're saying to Jesus, Who made you a ruler over us? He's a ruler over us because it's the plan of God. He said, Wilt thou kill me as thou didst the Egyptian yesterday? Then Moses fled at this saying, and was a stranger in the land of Midian, where he kept 2 sons. where he begat 2 sons. And when 40 years were expired, they appeared to him in the wilderness of Mount Sinai an angel of the Lord, and a flame of fire in a bush. Not only was the Egyptians in bondage another 40 years, but Moses was in the backside of the desert for 40 years. And some people that are not willing to let God reveal the big picture to them, they end up in the wilderness, in the backside of the desert for 40 years. I know people that got saved around the same time as me, and as we began to grow and to walk in the Lord, they wanted the comfort of man more than they wanted the will of God. There's some of them dead today. They died in a dead religion because they didn't let God show them the greater picture. So we don't want to spend any more time in the backside of the desert. We want to just let God burn that in our hearts. Burn the vision in our hearts that he has for us.